It's time for Lefties Losing It. Now, if you thought the horrific Islamist terror attack on Bondi Beach, an attack targeted against the Jewish community, would inspire some self-reflection from anti-Israeli activists like Greta Thunberg, well, you'd be wrong. No, far from even mentioning that awful preventable tragedy in Bondi, Greta Thunberg has posted a message in support of anti-Israeli activists in British prisons. Activists locked up for their alleged support of a terror group and for charges such as breaking into an RAF facility. They're the real victims in Greta's eyes.
Today, I and people all over the world are sending solidarity to the 8 individuals who are on hunger strike in British prisons, demanding that the government meets their demands of immediate bail, a right to fair trial, the deprescription of Palestine action, and an end to censorship. These individuals have been held in prison, some for over a year, without trial, and are currently unconvicted of any crime to date. They are on 42 days of hunger striking, a critical point that could lead to irreversible damage to their health and bodies.
Irreversible damage, she says. I wonder if there was a way to avoid that. I don't know, maybe these next lads can offer a solution.
Our friends are starving to death in UK prisons!
Have a sandwich then and get a job. That's brilliant advice right there. Now, I do wonder if there will be any self-reflection from other anti-Israeli activists like Abby Chatfield. She's been among those who have normalised hatred of Zionists, who have used the word Zionist as if it's a slur, as if believing in Israel's right to exist and defend itself is some sort of high crime. Wonder if there will be an apology or a vow to do better, perhaps a vow to stop posting poisonous trash like this next clip I'm going to show you, where Abby Chatfield called on Americans to murder President Trump. Yep. She really posted this just a few months ago.
Americans, when are you going to do it? Why isn't it already done? Every day there's another happening, right? Awful for your country. Awful, right? Why don't we redirect this energy to something else? You know, there's all these incels that are going, oh my me. So they go and do. You know what would actually make people respect you a little bit and make people want you? Is if you did it. Is if you did it. You get heaps of fan mail. Oh my God. Oh my God. Just do it.
Yeah, it's funny how the crackdown on so-called hate speech never seems to include the trash being spewed there. Now, here is a dose of weapon-grade chutzpah courtesy of CNN anchor Jake Tapper. Here he explains why he is hyper-fixated on Donald Trump's age.
We cover it all the time on my show, all the time. And I think that is to a large degree because we saw what happened with Biden, and while we covered it, we didn't cover it. Maybe we didn't ask as many questions as we should have at the time. And I think it is a legitimate question for any president of any age, but particularly anybody who is like in the range of being an octogenarian, right? We cover it all the time.
So let me get this straight. The guy who refused to cover Joe Biden's obvious cognitive decline, indeed he attacked those of us who pointed out the very obvious cognitive decline, and then he wrote a book acting like he was breaking news on Biden's mental acuity, but he only wrote that book after Biden was dumped by the Democrats, and now he's acting like his failure to properly scrutinise Democrats is why he must be obsessively negative about Donald Trump. Makes perfect sense. Now, you know MSNBC's Nicole Wallace, or MS Now, whatever they're called these days. Nicole Wallace, well, she's a little batshit crazy on TV, but she really reserves the weapon-grade crazy for her podcast, where she seems to feature the worst opinions in America. This week, it's alleged comic and actress Leslie Jones.
How do you think it ends? How do you think the era ends?
Girl, this is what I'm hoping, that midterms people come out and vote like crazy to switch it over, and then the reckoning comes. That's what I want. Everybody that worked for ICE, I want them in jail. I just want a reckoning. I want a reckoning. Y'all know y'all did wrong stuff. You know some of the stuff you did was so wrong. I need a reckoning. Because that's, to me, that's the only thing that's going to make it right.
And you thought she was terrible in Ghostbusters, and yeah, she was. What a horrid piece of work. Wanting ICE agents to go to jail for doing their jobs, detaining illegal immigrants, including rapists and killers. Now, here's another former guest of Nicole Wallace's awful podcast, a former MSNBC anchor, Joy Reid, who is so far off the reservation, so extreme in her hard left views, that she actually seems to believe that the leftist media isn't left at all.
There's no liberal media. It's never existed other than in independent media. This is liberal media where we are right now on the left hook. Other than that, corporate media, there's nothing liberal about it. The owners are conservatives who want to do business with Trump.
Now, let's hear from Democrat Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who had this to say about the Islamist terrorist attack at Bondi.
Become a normal occurrence, not just in the United States, but now seeing it in Australia, who's worked really hard to create gun prevention laws to prevent the kind of tragedy that took place today.
Yep, so after two men carrying an Islamic State flag in their car gunned down innocent people at the beach, targeting a Jewish event, Elon wants to talk about gun laws. Never mind that Australia has some of the toughest gun laws anywhere in the world. Let's bring in Sky News contributor Kosha Gator. Kosha, the crisis we are dealing with is not going to be fixed by just further toughening gun laws.
No, and she knows it, and sadly the leaders here, from the Prime Minister all the way down to former and sitting political figures and lawmakers, have also jumped on that bandwagon. They do it back home in the US all the time, including her, because the end goal is to restrict more and more gun rights, which is one form of freedom. I know that's a very American point of view, but it is a form of freedom that you have the right to self-defense. Doesn't mean you can buy guns unchecked. There's plenty of checks, but everybody should have that right, essentially, right? And it's enshrined in the Constitution there. So there is a little bit of a backstop, but even still, many, many states, including Minnesota, have it tightly. And what are you going to do? Print out another legislation and wave it to a shooter when they come to you? Like, that's where it just makes no sense. It's treating legislation as some sort of magic wand that it isn't.
And to think that terrorists, people hell-bent on killing as many innocent people as they can, are going to respect gun laws. We know that illegal guns are available to those who want to seek them out. And surely a terrorist is not going to be observing gun laws.
No, it hampers law-abiding people. Those are the people who follow laws, and terrorists and criminals don't follow them. The issue, of course, is immigration, among others. That is a topic Ilhan Omar knows a lot about, and I think there's a reason why she's obfuscating and not focusing on that and focusing on gun rights instead.